India's Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar has decided to resign, and it may not just be over health reasons. A lot more that could be behind this decision. The Vice President has now resigned. That resignation has been accepted. This is not just unexpected, it's of course left the entire political and legal circles stunned. At 9:25 p.m., in fact 9:25 p.m. last night precisely was when Jagdeep Dhankhar's office posted a short letter addressing it to President Draupadi Murmu, where he cited ill health for his reason of stepping down from the position as Vice President. He said, "I will resign with immediate effect," in that letter. The President accepted this resignation. Today, Draupadi Murmu, the President, has accepted it at around 12 p.m. But the timing of Jagdeep Dhankhar's resignation, of course, is questionable. This comes in the backdrop of a lot that's happening currently. First of all, the monsoon session that's just about begun. Now, just hours before Jagdeep Dhankhar quit, in his role as the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, he admitted an opposition-backed notice to remove a sitting judge, Justice Yashwant Verma, whose name is now linked to a massive cash recovery from his residence. So, the opposition called for his impeachment, and it appears that the Vice President, Jagdeep Dhankhar, who also acts as the Rajya Sabha chairperson, accepted this impeachment motion. The move was unprecedented, but it reportedly did not go down well with the ruling government, the NDA, which was reportedly planning its own response to the Yashwant Verma scandal in the judiciary. Now, sources say Dhankhar was told a no-confidence motion might be moved against him because the centre is upset. He got whiff of it, some sense that something like this could happen. So again, these are source-based information. We can't put a finger on it, but this is precisely what we hear loudly, chatters on the ground coming in, that Jagdeep Dhankhar, instead of being moved out through a no-confidence motion, decided very quietly to exit on his own terms. What adds to the intrigue, of course, is a press note from his own office just hours earlier, where it still mentioned Jagdeep Dhankhar as the Vice President, his plans to Jaipur later this week. So there was really no inclination or hints that he gave at any given point that his health was so bad that he wanted to resign. No indication at all of any sudden medical emergency. And of course, then the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi's response to his resignation as well, a very formal tweet 15 hours later, no mention of Dhankhar's contribution at all, no tribute to him either, just a short wish for his health. Now, some in the opposition have said that Jagdeep Dhankhar may have felt undermined, especially after key ministers skipped a meeting that he chaired, and after a remark by BJP's JP Nadda in the House, seen as disrespecting the chair. Remember, Dhankhar wasn't a quiet Vice President. His term saw direct confrontations with opposition MPs and even with the judiciary on the NJAC. Just last year, the opposition had tried to move a motion against him as well, but it appears he survived through all of that turmoil to come to a point where he himself put down his resignation. Now he joins the very short list of Vice Presidents in India who resigned before completing their term. What next? The Rajya Sabha now has no chairperson. The race begins for a new Vice President. And the bigger question, what impact will this really have on the monsoon session that's just about begun? Let me bring in for a little more to unpack on the developments here on Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar resigning from his post. Pankaj Sharma, senior journalist, joins us. Also, Ajit K. Jha, senior journalist, and Sanjay Rana, political analyst, also with us today. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining on board at a time when the country is talking about the Vice President's sudden exit. We still can't put a finger as to what really happened. We know Jagdeep Dhankhar wasn't keeping too well, but he was fit enough to start off the monsoon session so vociferously, where he accepted the motion, the impeachment motion against Justice Verma, the opposition's motion. He even gave a speech, he gave a bite, we heard that, we played that out the whole day today. So Jagdeep Dhankhar was fairly fit enough to possibly pull through this monsoon session. What really happened? Pankaj Sharma, you will speak for the Congress, I know. Would you start?
No, I want to speak for the Congress.
Well,
please. I am a political analyst. I have nothing to do with the Congress party. I want to speak for the Congress. But now, let me tell you that, there are very serious reasons behind the resignation of Mr. Jagdeep Dhankhar. And there's, in my opinion, there should be an internal parliamentary probe into this whole affair. Why he had to resign? See, there are several stories. He was being humiliated every day, verbally rebuked, routinely harassed by, by the henchmen of the ruling dispensation who are present in the union cabinet. So there is a limit for anyone. And for that matter, a person like Mr. Dhankar also, who has been otherwise very, very ruthlessly harsh with the opposition. And he used to disrupt every opposition leader with, with so much frequency that it was difficult for opposition to say anything in the House. He has always been citing the ruling party. He, person like him, to resign suddenly. If it is because of health reason, he could have resigned before the session. He could have resigned after the session. He could have discussed his health issues with the president of India, with the prime minister.
Yes.
He didn't do anything, and he suddenly resigned. Yesterday, the entire day, he was conducting the proceedings of the House. He was, we all have seen that he's in a good health. So health is not the reason. What is the reason? It should come out. There should be a parliamentary probe into this whole affair.
Well, Ajit Jha, if you want to jump in on this and your take on Jagdeep Dhankhar resigning so abruptly, and there's so much chatter around the BJP NDA being unhappy with him for accepting the impeachment motion that was pushed by the opposition. It sounds very bizarre to me. Why don't you give us a little clarity on what you think has happened? This is, of course, speculation, and we're going to delve into the speculation here because we have no other concrete information. We saw Prime Minister Modi very formally wishing him good luck. There was no tribute or the contributions, mention of the contributions that he made to the party. He's been pro-BJP, has been a hand-picked man, was a West Bengal governor, picked by the BJP NDA to be the vice president. He got the unanimous vote from the ruling. So a man who was favored all along, what happened?
You see, there is something called underlying reason and something called immediate reason. The immediate reason is the reason that you provided yourself. The fact that you said on day one of the monsoon session, he took government by surprise. In fact, he almost embarrassed the NDA government when he allowed the notice of motion for removal of High Court Judge Verma, especially given the fact that they were all signed by, the petitions were all signed by 63 opposition MPs, while at the same time in Lok Sabha, which is the more important house, much more powerful house, the government had a serious plan of moving the same motion, but the government was going to move it. So what ended up happening, the opposition by default, by Mr. Dhankhar's error of judgment, ended up getting the moral high ground. Now it's the opposition who, it seems, is pushing very hard for removal of Justice Verma, not the government not the NDA government. So I think, given the fact that he was a lawyer, given the fact that he was a senior leader, enormous experience, as you pointed out, how did he make this error of judgment? Either he completely forgot that he should have talked to the treasury benches, he should have talked to the government of the day, with the BJP president. He should have, he's part of a team. He's not a single player. And this is one problem that Mr. Dhankhar always had. He always would end up, without clearing from the government, he went left, right, and center attacking the judiciary exactly at the time when the NDA government was trying to mend its fences with the judiciary. Mr. Dhankhar was fond of attacking judges. He did similar things with opposition. If you remember that famous case he did where he sacked almost the entire members of the opposition. Later on, he was embarrassing the government when he went on attacking Jaya Bahaduri. She was literally crying in the house, and he was almost, acting as a bully. Now, these were some of the problems he had in his
Here,
personality.
most of what you just said is has squarely laid the blame on Jagdeep Dhankhar. My question here is, we hear that nobody from the ruling actually attended the meeting, which was supposed to have representatives like JP Nadda and others. They skipped the meeting. Jagdeep Dhankhar, in his right as the chair of the Rajya Sabha, well, as per his experience, decided to accept the impeachment motion. Should he have consulted with the government? Is that the norm? And because he didn't, was that the reason for friction? And can we blame Dhankhar for this, or?
I would blame Dhankar for it, precisely because, he has been the chairman of the Rajya Sabha for, almost 3 years. Only 2 years were left for, 2027. He would have finished his tenure, number one. Number two, he has studied the law. He knows the law. He knows the constitution. He knows the fact that the lower house is much more important on these issues than the upper house. The upper house is a merely advisory, forum. The money bill doesn't pass that there. Many other important issues of the day is passed by the lower house. He knows that Prime Minister Modi is an MP, a member of parliament of the lower house. The fact that the government has already decided to take a firm stand on this issue of removal of judge. He was aware of all that. Either, as I said, there was an error of judgment. Maybe he was getting too old and he forgot. He should have consulted. Now, it is possible that other than these immediate reasons, there were long-term reasons. The fact that he was not getting along, the fact that he was rather unwell, twice or thrice he had to be hospitalized, all those could have been, as I said, the underlying reason. But the immediate reason was a massive embarrassment of the NDA government on this important issue of corruption of the judiciary. That's where he completely failed. And then the government didn't know how to handle the whole situation. So basically, he was asked to leave. It's not that he resigned out of choice. It was under pressure. Remember, he went to
But I still don't get this buzz. Sanjay Rana, if this narrative is indeed true, would you tell me, if the NDA indeed wanted to nip judicial corruption in the bud, if that was the intent, then Jagdeep Dhankhar was very well aligned with it. If impeachment was really the final nail to set an example that judicial corruption is not tolerated, then what really went wrong? If Jagdeep Dhankhar did what the NDA intended to do, what really snapped?
Good evening, Nabila. Good evening to my fellow panelists. I will tell you the facts, what exactly happened in the whole process. First of all, president or vice president are the judicial position, or obviously is the constitution position, and they should not act as a political activist or political party leader or political party spokesperson. They are the people, those who are driving the things as per the constitution, as per the guidelines, number one. As far as when you ask the question about the Yashwant Verma's impeachment, obviously Lok Sabha has taken action, and it was there in the business advisory discussion in Lok Sabha on the Monday, and they accepted it as per the policy. Any of the house, whether it's a lower house or upper house, accepted the any advisory discussion, then other house will not take any action. It is very surprising sometimes when the people talk about try to find out the loopholes and try to find out the gaps, whether gaps are there or not. What was the reason to do the investigation? What kind of investigation you want to have? Somebody is resigning on the ground of his health. He has all the right to resign. Certainly, if you look at all the opposition party leaders from are supporting Mr. Dhankhar, they are standing behind Mr. Dhankhar. We are standing behind Mr. Dhankhar. But a few months back, if you look at December 2024, they were asking to resign, and he was working unconstitutionally against the opposition leader. Suddenly, he became a leader of choice. So, first of all, they need to clear, opposition need to clear what they want and what is their objective, number two. Number three, we need to understand what is the constitution, how the constitution works. If anything has happened, this should be consulting between the government, those who are ruling, and the president and the vice president take a corrective action. Number four, If you look at it, was not the matter of Yashwant Verma. It was a matter of something else for which he was pressurizing. He was about to sign on Tuesday, was Tuesday, which is today at 1 p.m. as per the plan, which has not happened. And everyone, all the opposition leader, were grouping behind Mr. Dhankar. If you look at the tweet, we need to understand all the parameters, all the politics of how it's running. If you look at the tweet of Congress leader Mr. Jairam Ramesh, he said he's absolutely fine. Though they do have any kind of parameters, AI system inbuilt in the Congress and the Congress ecosystem, or do they have a thermometer to find out whether person is fine or not? Obviously, if somebody is not fine, he has all that right to resign. Number 5, he's not the first vice president who has resigned. V.V. Giri was the first one who has resigned in 1969, and after that, Mr. Venkatraman.
We know that, but we are discussing the reasons to why he resigned.
I know. I'm coming to the point. The reason is always there. I'm not saying reason is not there, but please understand, whether is the president or vice president or the governor, they should act as a constitution body or as a head of constitution.
In that sense, Dhankar has been assertive. He hasn't been a ceremonial chair as probably expected. He's been assertive. That hasn't worked out well for him.
Please understand. If suppose anything is going wrong, he made a couple of statements. You need to look at the statement he made in last 1 month. He made the statement when he was hospitalized. He came out from the hospital. He made the statement. Sonia Gandhiji was continuously consulting her or discussing with my wife. Any senior person or any person like president or vice president is admitted. Obviously, the people or the leaders of opposition or leader of the ruling party will obviously show the concern. They will call, but they will not do the politics. But if you're doing the politics, there's some kind of visionary which is coming up, and he should avoid that kind of thing. That's why it's happened. And he himself was cornered by the opposition leader, by the member of parliament. Each and every incident.
I'd like to bring in Pankaj Sharma on that. Pankaj, we saw, like Sir has just said, Mr. Sanjay Rana says that the opposition was always in crosshairs with Dhankar. They also they moved a no confidence motion against him earlier. So what explains the sudden alignment with opposition and Dhankar? Not saying that it's unusual. It is unusual. Well, let's accept it. It is unusual.
See, this is not about Dhankar. This is about the Vice President of India. This is about the chairman of the Rajya Sabha.
Yes.
How can you mistreat a person who is holding a constitutional position? He was very, very good 6 months ago when he has been obediently towing the line. When he began doing certain things within his own rights with a neutral outlook, he became a villain in the eyes of the government, in the eyes of the ruling dispensation. So
why do you think if this narrative is to be believed, why do you think the BJP NDA is upset that he sided with the opposition, in your words, sided with the opposition and accepted the impeachment of Justice Verma? Why do you think they're upset? If the intent is to deal with judicial corruption, why do you think they're upset?
They are upset because the government, Narendra Bhai Modi, wants every credit for himself. He wanted that a motion of impeachment should first come in Lok Sabha. But Dhankarji, in his own right, accepted the opposition moved impeachment motion in Rajya Sabha.
My question to you is, how unusual is it for a vice president to act independently of the ruling dispensation? How unusual is it?
No, it's not unusual. It should actually happen. It should actually happen.
No, but going by track record, I will stress on my question: how unusual is it for a vice president to act independently of the ruling?
I think that vice presidents normally do not act on their will. They are an important part of the government, and they are a team player.
Should a vice president have this liberty or not?
So basically, they should be a team player. In fact, in the Sangha, in the RSS, it is always said that a great Swayamsevak is someone, who जिसके पैर में चक्कर, दिल में टक्कर, but मुंह में शक्कर. Mr. Dhankar had none of those qualities. He always
So you
ended
expect
up,
you expect the Vice
he
President
would
of India
frazzle
to be a
leader of the
Swayamsevak
opposition.
son, to be
You
a
see, it is
Swayamsevak
a-
of Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. So this
no.
expectation from a person who is holding a constitutional position, is it
Who
right?
made him the vice president?
Why,
Who
why
made
should
him
a,
the
why,
vice
why should a
president?
vice president, why should the Vice President of India behave like a Swayamsevak?
Because he's
Why?
part of the
And why should
BJP.
there be an expectation
He
for?
was playing that game when he was governor of West Bengal. He was playing
Then
political
that time
game
you
with
were
Because
very happy.
at this point, he
That time you
decided
were
not to
very
play the
happy.
game. He becomes the bad one.
No,
Well,
I think it was an error of judgment. He did not realize. He did not consult the party. He did not consult the party high command. He did not consult the prime minister. He went ahead because he thought he was
is
a
it
lawyer.
the
He
norm to
knew the-
consult? Is
Party
this the
high
norm to
command, yes.
consult?
Yes,
Consulting
Yes,
the Prime
yes,
Minister
yes.
is a
it's a
different
norm.
thing.
It's a tradition.
Why should the
in
Vice President
Parliament
consult?
It's a
where the
tradition,
upper
it's
house
the
command
norm.
President of a
A
political party.
chair of the Rajya Sabha deciding on
Yes.
impeachment, as big as a decision of impeaching a judge, which is unprecedented. It's a tradition and a norm to discuss with the ruling dispensation. I think that's the takeaway from here. It's quite natural then that the ruling will be upset. And it seems like Dhankar has made his decision on that. Well, a quick and final word on Sanjay Rana. Now you don't have a chair for the Rajya Sabha. We don't have a vice president. How are you really going to expect the monsoon session to function smoothly? Was not expected to be smooth, but at
Nabila, I
least
don't think
for
I
movement
don't
to happen, you need someone.
No, Nabil, I don't think this is going to make any impact on the functioning of Raj Sabha because Up Sabhapati is there who will take care of
Yes.
all the activities which are happening in is going to happen in Raj Sabha. Number one. Number two, please, I'm not aligned with the gentleman who was talking before me that he was a Swayamsevak. Please, he was not a Swayamsevak for sure, but he was holding a constitution position and he need to consult as per the procedure and the guidelines of the constitution. He has to consult the government, then take any action, but he cannot take a one-sided action as per his wish. There is a protocol which we need to follow. If you're going against the protocol, obviously question will arise on you. And I'm very surprising all the opposition leaders and the journalists who was talking bad about Mr. Dhankar are standing behind Mr. Dhankar and everyone is appraising. This is good. He's a gentleman. We believe that he's a gentleman. If he's resigning, then we should not cry. We need to understand what was the situation was there and why he resigned. If it's saying he's resigning because of his health issue, then we need to accept it. And we do not have any thermometer or any kind of AI system to find out whether he's well or he's not well. So we need to understand what is the politics is all about and why politics is there. So constitution position should not do the politics for sure. And if somebody is doing the political activity, then it's not acceptable in our democratic system for sure. So we need to understand what is the right, what is where we have to go, what we have to do. Every rules and rules are defined and they have a guidelines. Accordingly, we have to act. If the governor or if president is going to work as a prime minister, then what the prime minister will do. And number three, which is most important, if prime minister is going out of India, then vice president should be in Delhi and the chief justice of the India should be in Delhi. This is guidelines. How can you go? Prime minister is going to London and you're going to Jaipur. You cannot. Yeah, everything is designed well in advance. Well in advance. So therefore, couple of things which is going against the government, couple of things which is going beyond the guidelines and the protocol which he is supposed to follow. I'm not blaming anyone, but protocol need to be followed and accepted by the people because everything is governed by the policies. And if anyone is crossing the policies, then obviously red flag will arise and people will ask the questions.
All right. Well, I'm really short of words, not too sure if I should insist that the Vice President or the Chair of the Rajya Sabha should act independently. That's what's expected. But at the same time, he's defied tradition and norm by not consulting with them on a big decision like this. At the end of it, of course, the ruling dispensation has been left red-faced. And it could very well be that Dhankar, knowing his track record, could come out a few days later or months or years later to really say, to tell his tale, to tell us what really happened, bringing more embarrassment, I suppose, to the center. But for the moment, you say that this has not disrupted the House. It will move on smoothly, and we are looking forward to a smooth monsoon session. Thank you very much. We will be very closely tracking this story.